होगा ही।
देखता हूँ।
हाँ आ गया प्रभु, इसमें आया।
ऐसे
मीटिंग
क्या
हैज
है
बीन
आगे?
लाइव।
ध्रुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। हम्म। Oops. ओके। मद भक्तो, मन, मना, मद, मद भक्तो, become my devotee. In the last chapter, we began explaining the best and the Sarva Guhyatama, most secret verse of Bhagavad Gita. Giving example, we explain what is man mana bhav. Just as Krishna gave this instruction to Arjuna on a battlefield, we are also in the midst of a battlefield. We are at war with the tendencies of the mind, which is restless by nature. At that time in Kurukshetra, there was a war going on between the Pandavas and Kauravas. Just as this Manabhav was difficult for Arjuna, then it is also difficult for us now. When Krishna said, "Put your mind in me," he said, "No, I cannot do it." The Pandavas' army consisted of 7 military phalanxes, यानी कि अक्षोहिणी, and Kaurava's army consisted of 11. Opposite us also is an army of 11 Aksho, Akshohinis, and we are alone. Krishna was the driver of Arjuna's chariot, but our driver is bad intelligence, deformed intelligence. Krishna had a chariot given to him by the demigods Agni that could not be burned or destroyed. But what kind of a chariot do we have? Only the material body, which is subject to disease and death. Arjuna had the Gandiva bow for fighting. But what do we have? We have no help. Such is our position of weakness. Who was sitting on the flag of his chariot? Hanuman. Arjuna had all kinds of help, but once his mind became disturbed and said, "My Lord, I am unable to do this. Man mana bhav." The body is our chariot. The soul is its passenger, and the mind is its charioteer. What is the nature of the mind? Restless. It gives us no help at all. By its direction, we will fall down or stray from the path. At first, with the hand folded together, Arjuna said, "Shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapannam." I am accepting you as my spiritual master. In all ways, I am now surrendered unto you. As you instruct me, I will do. So he heard all of Krishna's instruction and said, "I am unable to do this man mana bhav. How will I absorb my mind in this way? It is not possible." Oppositors as Bhima, Drona, Karna, huh? Duryodhan, Dushashan, so many great Maharathis are assembled together to fight against us. Oppositors also are the six Maharathis. What are they? The urges of speech, Vacho Vegam, the tongue, the stomach, the genitals, the uncontrolled mind and anger. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jio Vegam, Udro Pasta Vegam. They're standing there in front of us to fight against us. And we cannot conquer even one of these Maharathis. Even such exalted personalities as Vishwamitra and Narada were affected by one of these Maharathis, the sexual urge. In Ramayana, it is described that once Narad desired to marry a princess, but he was defeated at a marriage ceremony when Vishnu gave him the face of a monkey. Beyond these Maharathis, these are so many kinds of anarthas. Impediment we must extend with. Therefore, Krishna said, "Mad Bhakto," 8 o'clock. Become my devotee. Arjuna considered and said, saying one will become a devotee is easy, but to actually do it is very difficult. To become a devotee, one thing is especially necessary. अन्याभिलाषिता शून्यम ज्ञान कर्माणुनावृतम अनुकूलेन कृष्णानु शीलेन भक्ति उत्तमा. One should have any type of material desire for attaining bhakti, for attaining the service of Krishna or a real devotee. There cannot be a scent of any other desire in the heart. What to speak of the desire itself? There cannot be even a scent of it. There are to be no tendencies of jnana, the cultivation of knowledge, directed towards impersonal liberation or karma, fruitive activities. Without karma meaning here activity in the general sense, no man can live. They must at least do some karma. Even at the time of sleeping, we are doing some karma. What are we doing? Breathing, changing position, dreaming. This is all karma. So it is unavoidable without doing some form of karma. We cannot live for even one moment. Anyone who says that he is living entirely without karma is a pretender. We must do some karma. We must eat. And to save ourselves from the cold, we must wear clothes. But how will we escape from the karma covering our bhakti? This action will not cover bhakti. When eating, don't forget Bhagwan. Eat for Bhagwan, for his service. In our present condition, we also cannot live without jnana. You see, we understood karma, right? No matter what, we are all the time performing some kind of karmas. Jnana karmana gati. You know, even if you're working for, suppose XYZ company, and the CEO of the company is enjoying the money, you're actually bearing the karma because you are the part of that particular management, you know, and you are the reason behind him making the money which he's enjoying for his sense gratification. So if he's eating meat, you are becoming a source of his meat eating. Jnana Karunagati. Now you will say, oh, then how am I going to get purified? So that is the reason we always have the purification process. When we have anarthas, we have the purification process to get rid of the anarthas. In the same way, when we have, uh, when we are committing any offense, karmas, and we don't know the outcome or the consequences of that, so, we are getting trapped. So that is the reason the purification of money, the process is given. Tap, dan or yajna. So it's a charity. Charity is the best way to purify your money. That is the reason whenever you make money, you should always take out some money for the Go Seva. That is for the protection of Dharma. Then you should be taking out some money for the Vaishnav Seva. Anybody comes to you for help should not go empty-handed. Then you should do some service for your Guru Maharaj because he has dedicated his life, entire life in the service of Lord. So Guru, Go Seva, Guru Seva, and the Vaishnav Seva. Right? These three kind of services should be always, we should always take out some money for it. I have heard somewhere it is mentioned that whatever money you make, at least 10% of that money should go in the charity, but not more than 10%. Otherwise, you become uh, Daridra. That is also mentioned. I don't know why, where, I have no source of it. But yes, one thing for sure is there that whenever you're performing or whenever you're doing the charity is always not always for the punya karma or the papa karma. Sometimes it is actually to protect you or to improve your what do you call to improve your sukriti. The karma is very, very, very heavy thing. Every action has its own karma. Everything, whatever we are doing, action has its own equal and opposite reaction. No? So karma, jnana karmana gati. Be very careful, very specific. That's the reason. And when you're taking out money for the Go Seva, for the Vaishnav Seva, for the Guru Seva, you should also take out some money for the temple or the center you're connected with. Apart from that, whenever in your house you're making the food, you actually spend maximum money on buying grocery. Whenever you're making anything, whatever fruits you're getting, whatever vegetables you're getting should be cooked and offered to the Lord. so that it becomes like, you become free from the karmas in this way also. Then you have a car, you're using the car for the petrol, whatever petrol you're using, whatever, you can actually use that car to go where? To the temple. So, Gehna, Karmana, Gati. Now they're talking about Gyan. Knowledge is also necessary. Without knowledge, we will not even know where to place our feet and while walking, and we will fall. But see how these things can cover bhakti. In the name of helping others, Bharat Maharaj made a mistake and fell down from the spiritual life. He had been practicing bhakti and attaining a very high stage, up to Bhav. He saved the baby deer from the mouth of the tiger from drowning in the stream, and afterwards he maintained it by feeding it milk, thinking he was benefiting another living entity. But because of this activity, he had to take another three birds. Therefore, although Gyan and Karma will remain, they must be kept in a position of servitude to Bhakti. Otherwise, our Bhakti will become covered. So, how will we engage in our Gyan and Karma? By going to the market and bringing good quality fruits, vegetables for the service of the deities. Same thing. The deities will accept the offering and give prasad to everyone. By this Bhakti, we will not be covered. Instead, it will be increased. On the other hand, we may bring all first class ingredients like the best carrot, pure cow's ghee, coconut, make very beautiful halwa, and then add silver topping. But if it is for our own enjoyment, then everything is spoiled. This section will cover our bhakti, so we must be careful for that of this. If we have made this preparation thinking I have made this, I bought the ingredients, I collected the necessary funds, and I will enjoy it, and afterwards offer it to Bhagwan, then that is somewhat all right. But if it is not completely correct, do not offer it only after preparing it, but rather from the very beginning it should be offered to Bhagwan. Yagyarthat karmano Anyatra. Your action should be a sacrifice for Bhagwan. This is the instruction of Bhagwan. Like, you're going to the market, you're seeing a very nice apple, you just think about offering it to the Lord. And when you're thinking about offering it to the Lord, then in your heart, you've already started the process. Like one time I was telling to a devotee, he said, Prabhu, please do the Pran Pratishtha of the deities, this and that. As the Pran Pratishtha for the deities happen, the moment you think about the deities in your heart. Because when the deities you thought of in your heart, they have already manifested the form in your heart. And then when you are thinking, oh, I'll raise the deities like this, I'll feed him this, I'll feed him that, deities are already sajiv, and they become sajiv and they accept your offering. Yad karosi yadanyasi yad juhosi dasi yad tad tapasya konteya tad karosva mad arpanam. Whatever you eat, if you prepare food, if you perform a sacrifice, if you're keeping a garden, all should be for offering to the deity. In general, the spiritually inclined people of this world are going on like this. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Gaudiya Acharyas have thought, don't do things in this way. Beware, you'll be trapped. Rather, we should first offer our very self to the deities. I'm yours, I'm yours. Then whatever we eat or do will automatically be for Bhagwan. Sharanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandam Dasam Sakhya Matma Nivedanam Iti Pumsa Ruta Vishnu Bhaktis Chena Nava Lakshana Kriyeta Bhagavati Yada Tanmanye Aditam Uttavam. Hearing, chanting about Krishna, remembering, serving his feet, worshipping him, praying to him, becoming his servant, becoming his dear friend, and fully surrender to him. This is ninefold bhakti. Perform these nine types of bhakti devotion is the topmost knowledge. Even if all of these are performed, but the results are offered to Bhagwan afterwards, then it is devotion mixed with personal desire. Karma Mishra Bhakti, not pure Bhakti. The people of this world generally don't know this. They just think that they should offer things to him. But pure devotee understand the shortcoming in this. Therefore, we should first offer our very selves, not just the results of our activities. Those who follow the path of karma offer that. It is like a small boy who is eating while sitting in the lap of his mother. When the boy sees something, he just put it into his mouth. And when he puts food into the mouth of his father also, and his father is not, his father is not offended. The father is pleased. Why? The boy is fully dependent on him. He may even punish the boy, but the boy would never leave him. In order to develop a relationship like this with Bhagwan, we first offer everything to our Guru, because in our present condition, he is to be seen as Bhagwan. When we develop a direct relationship with Bhagwan, then there will be no necessity of formal offering. The gopis are eating and decorating themselves, but they do not make any formal offerings or perform puja to Krishna. They are using many good qualities, things in the course of dressing and decorating themselves and applying their ornaments. But who is it all for? Krishna, definitely. Whatever they do is for the pleasure of Krishna. As soon as sometimes something comes to them, it is automatically for Krishna. In this way, we should do everything exclusively for the pleasure of Krishna. Such bhakti is difficult to attain, and it is required that we have some merit from our previous lives. And if in this birth, by the mercy of Bhagavan and the Vaishnavas, we have been graced with the company of pure Vaishnavas, then pure bhakti can come. The story of Bilwa Mangal Thakur nicely, nicely illustrated this point. Although he had some merit from his previous lives, some specific desires for enjoyment still remain in his heart. He kept company with the prostitute Chintamani, who after some time became exclusively interested in Krishna and therefore rejected Bilwa Mangal. After this, he crossed the river to his palace using a dead body for flotation and used a snake to climb up to her window. She rebuked him, and after that, he became renounced. Now, having a great desire to meet Krishna, he left his home, began heading towards Vrindavan. Perhaps 5 days later, he stopped at a well to get some water, where he saw a young girl who gave him some water to drink, but he forgot about drinking the water and began gazing at her. He followed her home, and then the Brahmana came to the door. Why has this Mahatma came? Bilwala, who is this girl that lives here? Brahman said, she is my wife. Call her. I want to speak with her. He called her, and then she came. Bilwala asked her, can you please give me both of your hairpins? Then Brahman and his wife thought he's traveling mendicant. Even hold on. हाँ हरी बोल. Sorry. The Brahman and his wife thought he is a traveling mendicant. So perhaps he has a thorn or a splinter in his skin that he wants to remove. So they gave him the hairpin, and Bilwa Manga did have a thorn he wanted to remove, but that thorn was in his heart, and he was unable to reach it. Therefore, he took the hairpin and plucked it into his eyes. This is a saying in Hindi that means if there is no bamboo, there will not be any flute. यानी कि ना रहेगा बांस ना बजेगी बांसुरी. So these eyes can be the root cause of all attachment to this world. In so far as the form of a woman attracts a man and the form of a man attracts a woman, and for each other they are personification of Maya. Illustration. The word Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures have warned us to be very careful about this. In fact, one time it was explained that when they say that woman touches this, woman touches that, and when man comes into contact with the woman, he falls down, this and that. So Prabhupada mentioned specifically this thing that woman means three doesn't mean three means the opposite sex. So agar if the woman is a sadhvi, for her the three is the man. And for the man, the Stri is the woman. So he said Stri, actually one of the Stri means also that the opposite sex. So for the man, for the sadhak, she is a Maya, and for Sadhvi, he is the Maya. So now blind Bilva Mangal went on his way. He was in such a mood of deep separation from Krishna that now all of his senses were centered on Bhagavan. On the way, there were many obstacles, such as mud holes and streams, but he was resolved in his determination and deeply meditated on Krishna as he was going towards Vrindavan. Then one day a young boy came to him and said in a sweet voice, Baba, where are you going? Begin, please. Vibhavanga replied, my son, I am going to Vrindavan. Where are you going? I am also going to Vrindavan. I make my living there. Vrindavan. Then come with me and hold my walking stick. And they went off together and wandering here and wandering, you know, wandering and wandering, and they arrived in Vrindavan. On the way that happened, on the way what happened? Inside his heart, Vibhavangal experiencing so many realization about Krishna that was just like nectar. This is called sadhana. Bilawamangal was a sadhaka. What he described in the previous chapter concerning the gopis was a stage of perfection as the Ganga emerges from the Himalaya and flows naturally towards the ocean without any specific efforts. In the same way, the tendency of the gopis' heart flows in the direction of Krishna, feet without ever stopping. This is a level of perfection. But here we are discussing sadhana, and Bhakti Swami Sindhu and the other scriptures declares that the Bilva Mangal was a sadhaka. But then what are we? We're not even sadhakas. Being only on the first step of Vedi Bhakti, we will be arrogant enough to call ourselves a real sadhaka. Shravan, Kirtan, Vishnu, Smaran, Pada, Sevanam, Arjanam, Vajanam, Dasam, Sakya, Madhu, Nivedam. There are two kinds of these 9 devotional service. One is the Vedi Bhakti, and another one is the Raganuga Bhakti. So devotion work in these two ways, and we must follow them. It is or not that we will leave Vedi Bhakti, but internally our feeling will change. Our external form will remain the same, but internally we will have nishtha, firm faith, unflinching faith. Those who have this can be called real sadhak. So Shravan, internal and external. Kirtan, internal, external. Vishnu Smaran, internal and external. Padasevan, internal, external. Archanam, internal and external. External Archanam is Archanam. Internal Archanam is Bhakti. Anyways, so with tears flowing from their eyes, they perceive their heart as as being in the form of a flower, and they offer that flower to the feet of Krishna. But without being asked, automatically Krishna will come and take that flower. Like one time, what one of the teachers of Gora was telling me that Gora he drew a very beautiful flower. And then he was going in the bus and he went to Mataji. Mataji, look, this is such a beautiful flower I drew yesterday. He said, yeah, it's a very beautiful flower. So he said, Mataji, can you help me with something? She said, what? Can you just make a lotus feet of the Lord here? She said, okay, why? Because such a beautiful flower should only be given to Krishna and to his lotus feet. So Mataji was very impressed with his devotion and with his desire or his presence of mind. Anyways, So that's why, but without being asked, automatically Krishna will come and take that flower. So just as in case of Bilwa, he was sadhaka, and in the end, what happened? Krishna himself came and led him by the hand of Vrindavan. He was engaged in such a sadhana that every night he was in deep meditation, but not just passively. He was doing Shravana Kirtana, Smaran, and Pada Sevanam, all in the mood of the Sakhi. From the beginning, he did it with the sentiments of Sakhi, and we should also execute that kind of sadhana wherein there is not even a trace of fruitive activity or impersonal knowledge. Then gradually, one own internal identity will blossom, and in that form, we can offer direct service to Krishna. A Raganuga devotee should practice sadhana like this. There is also the example of Raghunath Das Goswami. Externally, he appeared as sadhaka, but internally, he was as perfected soul, you know. Internally, he had fully realized his eternal Swarup. But how did he behave externally? Sankhya Purvaka Nam Gananati Bhi Kalavasani Kito Nidrahar Vihar Kadi Vijito Chaitanya Chino Chayo Radha Krishna Guna Smatir Madhurima Nandir Sammohito Vande Rup Sanatano Raghuyugo Shri Jeev Gopal Ko. He would chant the holy name in a regular manner. He would daily only drink water from completing after 1 lakh of Harinam. Daily he would offer at least 1,000 full prostrated obeisances to Krishna or the Vaishnava to special places of Krishna's pastime and to the holy Dham. He was very meek and humble, and day and night he was absorbed in thinking of Krishna. In his childhood, he had received initiation from his family guru Yadunandaracharya, and he attained the association of Vedas Thakur, by whose influence he began chanting the holy name. He is the eternally perfected soul. But here we will describe the activities he performed as an apparent sadhaka, which we should all accept and follow. Rupa Goswami, Jeev Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jeev Goswami, Rup Goswami, or Gopal Bhatt Goswami, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami, all of them were eternal associates of Lord, and they were Nitya Siddha Vaishnavas. But by performing the devotional service, they have actually set up the example and they have inspired us how our sadhaka life should be. After some time, Raghunath Das was married to a girl of a heavenly beauty, and he was like a prince, and his physique was very soft and beautiful. As a very tender, at a very tender age, only 16, he went mad in separation from Krishna. Many times he tried to leave home, but his family would always catch him and bring him back. He received the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu by offering some services to him and was then able to escape from his home. He ran at night through the forest so that he would not be detected. For 7 days he didn't eat or drink anything until he arrived at the house of milkman, who fed him some milk and puffed rice. And at just a tender age, walking day and night, he finally arrived in Jagannath Puri. Nowadays, when we travel to Dham, we make a train reservation, take 1 or 2,000 rupees in our pocket. But yeah, But this is not the conventional standard for going to the hub. Raghunath Das had completely left his home and family without taking any money or worrying about any engagement for his eating and sleeping and constantly crying in eagerness to meet Krishna. He arrived in Puri where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him. Mahaprabhu said, "You have left the stool pit to come here," means the home of a materialistic, and we embraced him. He embraced him again. Sitting nearby was Damodar, Sur Damodar, and he placed Raghunath in his care, said, So Damodar will be your everything. The father, mother, brother, spiritual master, and everything. Today I'm handing you over to him, and therefore you should not worry about anything. Just see how Bhagwan personally placed him into the hands of such an exalted Guru. Okay. Now it's going to be more interesting tomorrow. We'll read Raghunath Das Goswami's character and more about him. Okay. One
Hare
chapter
Krishna,
before
Prabhu.
this. Yes. Any comment?
Yes, Prabhu. This is like I just wanted to go on. It was very interesting part from now.
Yeah, I want to go on also, but I'm getting so many phone calls. So that's why
No
I started
problem.
the class early, but we were talking, so we
No
ended up
problem,
in.
Prabhu.
Oh, I have a book open on the side, so I'm just I was like going to read the next chapter, but I'm like, no, I don't want to cheat. I want to wait,
Ah,
read it with you guys.
hmm. I'm
Yes,
doing
Prabhu.
all this for you. So you should
Prabhu,
should have patience.
Yes,
I'm always.
yes,
yes.
Prabhu. Definitely, Prabhu. It's very good book, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Very, very good book. Prabhu, two things like one is like till now I was only doing karma mishrat bhakti till I read this book. Like
Mm.
I didn't know the difference. Like if you want to do like Shuddha bhakti, it should be offered in the beginning when we are doing. Firstly, I
Yeah.
was like the same person who was like thinking, okay, I am making this. What will I make new? Okay, I made this, and then I offer to the Lord, and I was thinking that okay, it's now purified. But as it is said, it is not appreciated. That is the usual karma kandi way. Like
Exactly.
सौ चूहे खा के
From the
बिल्ली हज
very
को
beginning
चली.
only, you have to have it in your mind that whatever I'm doing or performing, it is for the Lord.
Wow, I didn't know
Yes,
that, Prabhu.
namaskar.
That is like like I knew it actually, but I didn't actually subconsciously practice it. Subconsciously I was doing stuff first, and like you mentioned the example, like if when the children is sitting in the father's lap, and when the child is eating first, and then he is offering to father. So I was doing that. I was not offering to father first and then eating.
It
So
doesn't matter, but Krishna accepted, right?
yes, Prabhu,
He likes
that
our
is true.
dependability on him. This is another problem with Krishna that he likes us to become, or he wants us to become more dependent on him. And when we become more dependent on him, he become more questionable for us. Right?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. And Prabhu, one more thing I wanted to ask regarding Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. Actually, Maharaj wrote and he said like the internal Bhakti is Raganuga Bhakti, and the external would be the Vaidhi Bhakti, and which is like very good definition of Raganuga Bhakti, as as Raganuga Bhakti can be practiced externally because that would be Sahajyaism. If it's practiced internally, then it is only perfected. But how can a person who is practicing the Vaidhi Bhakti, so can we mean or can we assume that the Vaidhi Bhakti is only trigger to activate till you get to the position of internal Smaran and internal Archanam? It is just the starting point of that.
You see, Vedi Bhakti uh, never take this Vedi Bhakti cheaply or very lightly. Vedi Bhakti is actually is a first step towards Raganuga Bhakti. You get your mind?
Yes, Prabhu.
This is a very important point. Raganuga Bhakti is the first. Raganuga Bhakti is what? Rag. Getting rag. What is rag? एक attachment, एक very unflinching attachment, which is very soothing and very pleasing to our heart. अरे यार, I can't live without Krishna, bhai. Now what's this? That's it. You know? Then you just say a lover is missing his girlfriend all the time, wherever he goes, thinking about the old good times everywhere. Every place he's thinking about that. And his heart is broken, and then he's thinking all the time. That particular things comes with time. Initially, it start with flood only, right? Simple
Yes, bro.
example. Same way, Raganuga Bhakti and this Vedi Bhakti is a flood only, It's like, "Arey, yeah, chal, let me do it today, let me do it today, or let me do that today, or let me just like offer the bhoga to the Lord, yeah. Arey, it's already 12 o'clock, I haven't offered something to the Lord, let me offer. ਫਿਰ then after some time what happens? Oh my God, it's already 12 o'clock, my Lord is hungry, you know.
Yes, bro.
Then, see, Raganuga Bhakti is like very simple. गन्ने का जूस निकालते समय you're actually using that particular जैसे कहते हैं ना वो that particular machine clockwise है ना and then you started
Yes.
using it anti-clockwise you know it's like going forward physically. The more you go forward physically, more you will start traveling within your heart. It's a reverse gear.
Hmm.
So Raganuga Bhakti is very simple. Raganuga Bhakti is a spontaneous love for Lord, which comes with time only. I give always simple example. Every day putting an alarm to wake up at 4 o'clock. One day you forgot to put the alarm, but you are awake at 4 o'clock. That is Raganuga Bhakti. Putting alarm is Vedi Bhakti. When you are actually forcing yourself to serve the Lord, that is Vedi Bhakti. In another words. ठीक है?
Yes, bro.
Your question was something else or what? What was your question exactly?
No, bro, they were like, yeah, you actually pretty much answered my question. Like my question was like, is Raganuga completely internal and Dvaiti Bhakti completely external?
Actually,
And
Vedi Bhakti is completely external and Raganuga Bhakti is completely internal, which looks external.
mm,
समझ रहे हो?
yes, Prabhu.
Like, I'm offering milk to my deities and Sanatana Goswami is offering the milk to his deities. Right?
Yes,
Simple.
yeah. The level of offering of Sanatan Goswami is like very
Consciousness.
yes, the
How
consciousness.
conscious is.
So, Prabhu, one thing one should learn, the first step is how to be in that consciousness, and what is right consciousness of Smaranam. For example, you mentioned the example of a lover, like having a beloved. So, if I am thinking like which level of smarana is more perfect or more aligned with the parampara or acharyas, like one is like you are remembering Krishna, how he reciprocated with you in the past, how he protected you. Is that the proper smarana, or we should only be thinking about the nitya leelas of Shri Radha Shyam Sundar always? Is that the proper
Smaran,
smarana?
initially, Smaran also starts with that only. First, it's a forceful Smaran. You are thinking about that Krishna is wearing a yellow dhoti, ठीक है? And
Yeah.
yellow patka and dancing in a dance. He's walking in the Vrindavan in a dancing way, right? And immediately your mind takes you to the yellow dhoti of Sri Vaishnavacharya. Okay, and then your mind also take you to the yellow dhoti of new bhakta in Punjabi Bagh temple or in Surat temple or Ahmedabad temple. And then immediately seeing so many people in the yellow dhoti, you specifically think about your friend or your enemy, and then you start, meditating on his leelas or your own leela with him. And then you bring your mind again back. Oh my God, no, no, no. What I was looking at, or what I was trying to see. Krishna is walking, in yellow clothes in the grooves of Vrindavan. So मैंने क्या बोला?
Yes, Prabhu.
First you're offering, you close your eyes and you see the Krishna sitting, and you're offering him dal makhani, shahi paneer, kadai paneer, paneer butter masala, and then achari paneer, and then immediately you're thinking, oh, achari paneer was looking like exactly shahi paneer. The shahi paneer which my mother used to make was the best actually. And the shahi paneer which I had in, Calgary temple was not so good, or, in Toronto temple was not so good. And if you want to really have, kadai paneer or something that, Vrindavan kadai paneer is the best actually. No, no, no. I was offering the paneer sabzi to the Lord. So let me just go back. So Smaran Dasha is initially very forceful. ठीक है?
Mm.
But when you are naturally in love with someone, you can think about that person for hours without thinking about anybody else.
Yes, bro.
Hmm.
Bro, bro, one last doubt, one last thing. Like, what if a person, like, say, has developed this attitude of smaran,
Hmm.
and she always remembers, and she always is in smaran with Thakurji, his leelas. He's always thinking, but she's not able to follow the Vaidhi Bhakti principles. Like, she didn't
No,
even
then you
start.
know what? We don't know what sort of bhakti any individual has had performed in his previous life, so we cannot judge the bhakti of other person, right? The parameter to check whether that person is good in smaran or doing his or her bhakti properly or not by reading this particular slok. संख्या पूर्वक नाम गान नतिवि कालावसानी चितो निद्राहार विहार कादि विजितो चैतन्य दीनो जयो राधा कृष्ण गुणा स्मृतिर मधुरिमा मंदेर सम्मोहितो वंदे रूप सनातन रघुयुगो श्री जीव
Gopal.
गोपाल। प्रभु एक परफेक्ट साधक होगा ना, जो एक परफेक्ट राग मार्गी भक्त होगा ना, वो परफेक्ट साधक भी होगा वो। ध्यान
Hmm.
रखना इस बात को, समझ रहे हो?
Yes, Prabhu.
Each and every of our acharya, from Rupa Goswami to anybody, you see Prabhupada, all राग मार्गी भक्त, फिर पजामा नहीं हूँ पजामा, all राग मार्गी भक्त, ठीक है, all of them, they have shown their life as a sadhaka only, ठीक है?
Yes, Prabhu.
ध्रुवित एक बड़ी छोटा सा एग्जांपल लेता हूँ, just to complete this thing. One is a newly rich man and one is a Khandani rich. The Khandani rich, like who is from ancestral, or who is from a very rich family, will have a different style altogether than the person who newly become rich. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
ठीक है? बस, this is it. ठीक है भाई?
Yes, Prabhu.
थोड़ा
Thank you. It was
सिंपल
very
एग्जांपल है
deep.
लेकिन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एग्जांपल.
Yeah, it was very deep examples.
पांचचक्रपुत्र वैश्य कृपा सिंधु पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय.
Jai.
Yeah.